At exactly 2:12 a.m. every night, Emma heard the same thing, furniture being dragged across the floor of the apartment above. The scraping noise was slow, agonizing, as if someone was rearranging their entire life 1 inch at a time. There was just one problem. The apartment above hers had been vacant for 5 years. She told herself it was pipes, old building, bad acoustics, but deep down Emma knew better. She lived alone, she worked nights, she slept with one ear open, and last night she heard footsteps. Not just any footsteps. Heavy ones, slow, deliberate, and then the sound of something being dropped. Not like a chair, more like a body. The building manager shrugged it off. "No one lives up there, honey, trust me." But the look in his eyes said something else. Like he was trying not to remember. That night, she stayed awake and recorded the ceiling with her phone. At 2:12, the noise returned, dragging, then footsteps. But when she played the video back, the sound was gone. Only silence. Except at the very end of the clip, there was a whisper. A voice, low and broken. "Stop watching me." Emma couldn't sleep. That whisper haunted her like breath on the back of her neck. "Stop watching me." The next morning she went up. Apartment 4B, the one directly above hers, had always been locked. But today, the door was ajar. She hesitated. Her fingers hovered over the brass knob. Her heart punched at her ribs. She pushed it open. The apartment was empty. No furniture, no lights. Dust lay thick on the floor like snow, except for a trail. Something had disturbed it. Long streaks, like a chair or bed had been dragged. Emma followed the marks, phone flashlight trembling in her hand. They led into the bedroom. The walls were covered in something scratched. Hundreds of tiny lines, symbols, words. One phrase repeated over and over. "It's still here." Then, slam. The door behind her shut on its own. She ran. Tried to yank it open, locked. Her breath caught in her throat as she turned around. In the reflection of the bedroom mirror, she saw herself. But her reflection didn't move. It just stared and smiled. Then it raised a hand and dragged a chair slowly across the floor. Scrape, 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 scrape. Emma slammed the door to her own apartment and shoved a chair under the handle. She was shaking. Cold sweat clung to her skin. Her reflection had moved without her. She didn't sleep that night. Instead, she searched the building's property records. And she found something the landlord had never mentioned. Apartment 4B used to belong to a man named Gideon Rook, a stagehand, worked in theaters, specialized in sound design. He disappeared 13 years ago. No forwarding address. No body. Just gone. Emma dug deeper. Online forums, local archives, anything. What she found chilled her to the core. Other tenants had reported the same thing. Dragging sounds at 2:12 a.m. footsteps. Even whispers. Then she found a photo. A blurry shot from an old tenant's blog. It showed a mirror inside 4B. The same one she'd looked into. In the caption, "Whatever you do, never let your reflection smile first." Emma looked over at her phone. She had left it recording in 4B while she fled. She hit play. At first, silence. Then, faint footsteps. And then her own voice. Only, she never said it. "I like your face," it whispered. "I think I'll wear it next." The recording ended with a long, low scrape. Emma couldn't stay silent anymore. She returned to apartment 4B. This time, she brought a hammer. The mirror was still there, tall, Victorian, edges lined with faded brass. Her reflection stood calmly, too calmly. Emma raised the hammer. But her reflection moved first. It lifted a hand and pressed its palm against the glass. Emma froze. Her hand, on instinct, did the same. The mirror felt warm. It pulsed like it had a heartbeat. Then, the room shifted. The mirror's surface rippled, and suddenly Emma was staring at herself from the other side. No longer in her body. No longer in her world. She screamed, but no sound came out. Her body, the one outside, smiled. Then it turned and walked away, leaving her trapped behind the glass. She pounded, clawed, but her reflection, the thing in her skin, never looked back. It lived now, in her apartment, in her life. And Emma? Emma lived behind the mirror in a dusty, silent apartment that never aged. Until one night, at exactly 2:12 a.m., someone new moved in downstairs. For what felt like years, Emma remained trapped behind the mirror. Time didn't pass. There was no hunger, no thirst, only stillness and watching. She could see everything through the glass. Her apartment, her life, but it wasn't hers anymore. The thing that had taken her face, her reflection, wore it like a comfortable mask. It lived her life with precision. It mimicked her smile, her laugh. It even cried sometimes. But every night at 2:12 a.m., it returned to apartment 4B. There, it performed its ritual, dragging furniture slowly across the floor, whispering to the mirror, staring directly at Emma. Like it was reminding her, "This is mine now." Emma screamed at first. She pounded the glass, scratched until her nails bled. But the mirror never cracked, not from her side. Years passed, or maybe just days. Time didn't mean anything anymore. Then one night she heard something. Footsteps. Not the thing in her skin. Someone new. A girl, maybe 17. She was dragging a suitcase down the hallway, earbuds in, looking up curiously at the dusty ceiling above her. Emma watched in horror as the landlord handed her keys. To 4A, Emma's old unit. The cycle was starting again. A few nights later, the girl, curious, went upstairs. Apartment 4B still stood open, dusty, silent. Except for the mirror. The girl stepped inside, her eyes locked onto the glass. Emma pressed her hand against it. The girl paused. Then, she stepped closer. Emma mouthed, "Help me!" And the girl saw her. Her eyes widened. She gasped. Then, her face changed. She smiled. Not kindly, not nervously, but knowingly. And she whispered, "I've been waiting to meet you." Emma froze. The girl pulled something from her bag. A shard of mirror. Old, cracked, with blood on the edge. She pressed it against the larger mirror, and the glass began to bleed. Dark veins spread through the reflection. Emma's prison shivered. She felt the room around her collapse, like gravity folding inward. She screamed, clawed, begged, but it was too late. The mirror shattered. Shards flew in every direction, and Emma's consciousness splintered with them. She didn't wake up in her body. She didn't wake up at all, but now she could see everything. Every mirror, every reflection, every person who dared to look too long. And in everyone, a part of her was waiting for someone else to smile first.